Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSi DFS Fantasy Baseball Picks. I'm your host, Mega 31. We got the 5 game early slate here for this video. I believe McKinley's going to do one for the 10 game uh, main slate, which is a 640 slate. So I don't know why they didn't split up a little bit. I mean, they did today and created almost an amazing turbo slate. So check the channel for that video if you're coming for the night slate and you happen upon this video and the early slate's already over. So, um, special day for me. I mean, I'm recording this the night before, but it's almost midnight. So, tomorrow's my 25th wedding anniversary. Can you believe it? Married in 1999 to the love of my life, and 25 years later, 3 amazing children. It's just so cool. When you get married, you never think like, wow, what's 25 years later going to look like? And here we are. So very blessed, very happy with that. So anyway, so let's get back to some baseball. Monday night, like it was a decent night, and we talked in the video today about that I did about contrarian and said, here's an example. Stack of White Sox who probably have low ownership against Kikuchi, and they go and put up like 5 runs. So I mean, some things we got right, like we knew Minnesota was going to have a really good game against Corbin, and they just left him out there, and he got mashed. Like he didn't have like a huge inning; it was like 2 runs and 2 runs and 2 runs and 2 runs. Here, I believe he gave up 6 of the 10, or maybe even 8 of the 10. So they didn't use up too much of the bullpen there. But the game where we thought the wind was blown out in Wrigley, there was going to be a huge game, only ended up being 4-3 of the Cubs in 10 innings. And I thought Baltimore was going to actually have a smash game against St. Louis, and then out of nowhere, like rain came in, and that game got suspended in the sixth, so it's a 1-1 tie. I don't know if they're resuming it tomorrow. What's going on with that at this point? So looking at tomorrow's slate, the only weather concern potentially could be New York and Cleveland. But that's the nice thing about like these date slates is they have like almost all day to play it, and it looks like as we're going on through the course of the day, that things should clear up. So they should probably be able to get that one in. So not too concerned about any games here. So first game we have is Minnesota and Washington in the capital, 84 degrees, 6 mile per hour wind, so not too bad. We have Wood Richards and Jake Irvin. Wood Richards, I think, is definitely probably going to be most people's SP2 here. You get a Washington team that's average in strikeouts and stuff, but it's a decent matchup for them. Um, they have put up some runs here and there recently, but I think they've been solid enough to make a good start there. Jake Irvin on the other side, I mean, it's only a 5 game slate, so you have only 10 pitchers to consider. So I don't think he goes in the fade category. He's been boom or bust, and Minnesota has a very high strikeout rate usually. Um, so almost 25%. So I think that you can consider him in GPPs, but I don't think I would definitely not play him in cash. So Minnesota probably the lefties, the usual suspects. Julian should be back leading off. Larnish, Kepler, Grilloff, Santana, switch hitter there, mixing some of the righties, and Washington, some maybe the lefties, and in a GPP. Abrams was already a winker. I don't know about Abrams though. He's like 5,800, and in the month of May, he's only had 2 games that's been over 10 DK points. Like he really hasn't been super consistent. So. And some of the rest of the team has been. So I think I can see them in GPP. For the next game, we have the Mets going to Cleveland. Rubber game of this series, I believe, Quintana and Tristan McKenzie. Quintana was supposed to pitch today when I did the video, but then they brought somebody else in, and so Quintana should be here. Extra day of rest, but again, he's still going to be a fade. And McKenzie, and the Mets do have some decent left-handed hitters here. He's been hit or miss too, like sub 500 record with a 3.23 ERA. I mean, the Mets have actually been pretty good. Like they only have a 19.3% strikeout rate, so they're probably going to throw like 4 lefties at him, 5 righties, and they with their elite K rate and they don't walk much. They don't have a ton of power, so I mean that should be okay for McKenzie. I mean, I much prefer the Mets lineup against a left-handed team. But again, he's been inconsistent, had his moments. So I think he's got to be in play in the mid range here. And I think this is a day that you're going to try to pay up for at least one of your pitchers because you have two outstanding pitchers on the slate. But again, with only 10 pitchers, I think Mackenzie's got me in play. Quintana, unfortunately, unless you're mass multi-entering and playing every pitcher just in case something happens, then, because we have seen some teams go out there and make like some marginal to below average pitchers look like Nolan Ryan or Cy Young this season. It happens. And if you think Quintana could fall into that fold, then by all means play in a 150 max, but I would have less than 5% ownership on him. Again, it's the hard thing is Cleveland doesn't really strike out. They are just like the Mets. They're identical at 19.3% K rate, so there doesn't. And Cleveland makes a lot of contact, doesn't have power, but they don't strike out. So I don't see a ton of upside for Quintana. Baltimore, St. Louis. I have to keep an eye on this one because I don't know if they're gonna like finish the game and then like play another game or how they're gonna figure out. Well, no, it should be potentially official because it's in the sixth inning. So if they don't resume it, then they can call it official because they have enough outs. So I think they'll be fine on that one. So probably nothing from tonight that will carry over. The weather looks better. They're not as hot. A little bit percentage chance of rain, like 13%. 77 degrees, so a little bit cooler. Wind blowing left to right, not out like it was, but Baltimore should have a good matchup here. John Means, his third, this will be his 4 star after coming back. His first one, he went 7, looked really good. The second two cooled off a little bit, but St. Louis has been a decent matchup all year long. Although recently they have been more patient at the plate. If you watch today's video, I talked about that from for Mondays or for Tuesday's slate here, where they have been taking more pitches, more patient, not striking out as much, walking a little bit more. So we'll have to see what happens there. Uh, but I think Means is definitely in play. Probably my favorite guy in the mid range. And then Gibson, I think you got to keep him in play. Baltimore has been a tough team. They don't have the average for K rate. They have a ton of power, especially in the lefties. But Gibson has had some really good games against some really good teams. And he's had some really bad games against some really bad teams. So super inconsistent. Again, GPP play only. Baltimore bats are gonna be my favorite one on slate. They're expensive, kind of hard to get to, so you got to pick and choose what you do there, and maybe sacrifice pitching or your secondary stack or players that you're filling with that are going to be values. And then St. Louis, I think there's some upside there with the righty matchup against lefty, especially when leading off. He's hit, I think, in like 12 straight games, so he looks pretty good there. Detroit and Kansas City, great pitching matchup here. You have Schoolball 6-0 with 1.8 ERA and Cole Reagans, who had a hot start, had a couple clunkers, but has rounded back into form against a Detroit team that has a 24.2% K rate. And just to go up against the left-handed pitcher because that's their overall one. Against left-handed pitching, it's 20, so it goes down a bit, but um, still their on base percentage is pretty poor 0.692. They have a terrible walk rate against left-handed pitching, only 7.1%, and poor power too. So most of their power comes from the left-hand side of the plate. So I know Ibanez has some success in Kana in his career. Um, like Torkelson can. I mean, Urshela is more of a contact guy. I think Perez should hit lower in the lineup. He's better hitting against righties and lefties. And Jake Rogers can match lefties, but Reagan's has just been really good and almost matchup proof, except for like one hiccup game that he had out there, which I think he might have been injured. I can't remember exactly, or it was like the wind was blowing. It was some weird situation. It wasn't like his norm. So, I mean, if you can pay it for both pitchers here in cash and find a line that works for you with value plays, I mean, might be a way to go to separate yourself. But I think you want at least one of the two of these in your cash games. Bat wise, they're both home group leverage stack. I think the pitchers are going to be very highly owned. So we just take the split advantage. So if you're playing Detroit in a GPP, it's going to be Verling, Ibanez, Kana, Torkelson. I'd maybe wrap around Jake Roberts over like playing Urshela there. Baez is over the hill. I wouldn't play him. Perez, like I said, I'd rather have him against a righty than a lefty. On the KC side, I mean, they had a massive game today. They put up some runs. Let's see here. What was it? It was pretty. pretty decent total. 10. So, and they all came early against the starter. So I don't think they used a ton of bullpen, which would mean like Reagan would go like deeper into the game. But I think that you can play the usual suspects here. Garcia, Witt, Pascatina, I'd probably skip lefty and lefty. Perez, Renfroe is cheap. Velasquez is cheap with the splits advantage. Hampson and Furman, I probably wouldn't play a Massey lefty and lefty. I don't really like that. And then finally, we have the Angels and Houston. The Angels continue to hit. They took Houston to extras tonight in 10, and Houston and Pena had a walk-off RBI single, so they end up winning 6-5. But the Angels continue to put up runs. I said this team's like the little engine that could, and it was all power. Um, Let me just pull up the scoring summary. I know they hit a lot of home runs. So Ren Gifo, love this guy, Lewis or Luis. Uh, he's second base, third base eligible. Like he has just been such a spark plug. Um, and then Tucker and Alvarez hit home runs. Then Neto doubles, and then Flar homers. So maybe I'm thinking about the night before, but they've flashed a lot of power recently, and Brown has really struggled, and Tyler Anderson has really struggled. So you've got one pitcher in Tyler Anderson with 2.72 ERA, which I think is much is doesn't really give you the whole picture. Against a Houston team that has an okay upside, they're the lowest strikeout rate in Major League Baseball is 16.4%. So I will not be playing Anderson here. And Brown, I think if you want to get cute, like he's so cheap and he has some upside against the Angels, but I think the Angels make a solid stack against him, and probably just the way that traditionally they work out makes a really good cash fill in for you. So like I said, School and Reagan's are the head of the class here. Means maybe Mackenzie, Irvin, and Gibson are in play, but probably more in large field tournaments. Wood Richardson, I like as a SP2 in cash. Brown in a GPP if you're trying to save money and stack more expensive teams like Baltimore, Houston, and then not playing Anderson or Quintana. Baltimore is the top stack. Houston, I like, but I want to try to get righties. I just really don't like how they positionally like match against like the secondary stack. So I don't know if I'll go much Houston, maybe just a straight up stack and then like one offs with them. And then Cleveland, I like to, and going back to Cleveland, and I'll talk about when I get to the cash core because there's one guy I really want to highlight there that I didn't skip on the go around. But cheap ones, Minnesota and the Angels, and then leverage Kansas City and Detroit just against two good pitchers. So let's look at the builds and get you on your way for your Wednesday here. So I'll let you figure out who you want for your SP1. Like I said, you've got great choices between Screwball and Reagan's. But your biggest choices, I have a Hopi in catcher. If you want to play Rushman, you're gonna probably have to drop down to means. Like I built a lineup and it worked with the Angels, uh, but you have to in order to get Rushman, you have to sacrifice one of the top two pitchers, honestly, unless you can figure out other value plays to make it work. So first base, probably taking an Angel there or O'Hearn works at 43 at first base. I don't think I go Mountcastle there, but I probably Chanel or Calhoun is first base eligible for that one. Rengifo is definitely going to be my lock in at second base, but you can play him at third also. So that gives you you can take Westberg or Mateo um, from Baltimore there to fill in your stack. Gunnar Henderson, locking him in there. Cowser, lefty there. I mean, if you want to, Santander is like $200 more if you're gonna go him. I'm fine with that, but I guess save the savings for Cowser. And then Johnny Rocket. Like actually, who's Johnny Rocket? He just got called up from Cleveland. He was absolutely mashing in the minor leagues. Now he went 0 for today in his debut, but maybe he's a little bit nervous. But he was facing a right-handed pitcher. But he gets Quintana, who's a left-handed pitcher, and this guy had hit bombs against. That's why they call him Johnny Rocket. His real name is Jonathan Rodriguez. So look him up, but he's 2K. He's minimum price, and if he gets a hold of one, and I just. But if he gets a zero, I'd rather have a 2K player get a zero than if I play. um, Abrams, who is like 5,800, and if he gets a zero. So I really have nothing to lose and all to gain, and it makes the rest of my lineup work. So that's where I'm going. Just a one-off from Cleveland. I'm not playing any other Guardians in my cash line. It's going to be Angels, it's going to be Baltimore, and then figure out which pitcher you want there. Do you want to pay up for one of the guys in the Detroit KC game, or do you want to settle for means, which it correlates with your Baltimore stack? And then I am going to pay up for both pitchers in my GPP because I can get a nice contrarian stack with Washington and St. Louis. So give me Herrera, the St. Louis catcher. Now, he did take a weird step fielding ball or pass ball and might have twisted his ankle. So just make sure he's in the game. But if not, then I have no issues going with Ruiz, the switch hitter for Washington. At first base, I'll let you decide if you want Manassas or if you want to try to take a shot on Coldsmith. That's his new nickname is Paul Coldschmidt instead of Goldschmidt because the has been pretty cold this season. Garcia Jr. He runs, he hits. I've seen it. He hit a home run in the opening game of the series. A decent player. Like him, splits advantage, batting about fifth in the lineup. So there you go. Third base for this one, you can go Senzel, you can go Arenado. Um, I want to go win at shortstop. If you want to go Abrams, that's fine. I like it. If you want to go like Javier Washington, you figure out the salary for it. But like I said, Wynn's hitting like 12 straight games. He's got the splits advantage. He should be leading off. Lots of positive things for him, and he's almost half the price. Like Abrams is 5,800, he's 3,400, and been consistent. So, and if he's leading off, then even better there. Rosario and Winker, and then just figure out if you want a St. Louis guy, if you want to take like Gallo or Young or whoever you want to round out your outfield, or throw Johnny Rocket there and give yourself some extra salary to pay up for one of the other positions, maybe as a one-off to whatever, however you want to do it. So I got for you for Wednesday. So hopefully it works out for you. If you have any questions, put in the chat below. Hit me up my River31 on Twitter/X. Been some great questions for the last couple of days, so keep them coming. We'll do what we can to try to help you. If you want more information on FSi DFS, go to the description of the video and you can get into our Discord. And through our website, you can see what all our products are. But we're talking about starting to flash some free cores from time to time in one of the rooms in the Discord. So just come on and join and see what kind of free stuff we have. MMA is always free, and we're going to throw some other freebies out there for you periodically too. And again, if these videos help you, help us back, like, subscribe to our channel. We are like 9 people away from hitting 4,900 on our way to 5,000. So if you could help us get 49, then we just have to push 100 more to get the 5K. Love to do it by the end of the season. That would be outstanding. A short period of time over just a couple of years to amass 5,000 subs is just incredible. So appreciate each and every one of you who have, and those who have watched. And if you haven't, just please, it's just clicking a button. I mean, it does so much for us to help us out. So again, if these videos help you, if you just help us back, it doesn't cost you any monetary value. It's just guys send you any spam emails or anything. It just it just helps us reach more people. The more people we have signed up. So thank you. Hope you have a great Wednesday. Uh, Again, I'm looking forward to celebrating anniversary with my family, and I will see you sometime this week. And we should have exciting weekend coming up for NASCAR at Memorial Day for the Coca-Cola 600 and all 3 series at Charlotte. So lots to come. So good luck in your contests, and I'll see you.